Good. All right, everyone, welcome to the Phantasmagoria Performance Room with our final panel of MegaCon 2026. So these two people are amazing for a variety of reasons. One, their warmth. Two, their dancing, I guess. I'm not sure what that was. Three, their friendship. Four, their font of knowledge of the haunt industry all across this nation. Now, I've been trying to bust Johnny's chops for years to come in here and do the Pet Peeves, and finally has agreed to do it. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, HauntScene!
All right, well, hello everybody, my name is Johnny Bronto. I've founded HauntScene back in 2015, so we've been doing this for a while. How many of you have watched one of our shows before?
How many of you know of us?
That's fine. That's all right. Now you can you can do the things now. All right. This is Melissa.
I'm Melissa Lukac.
She's my co-host. So we are on YouTube. Let's go to the next slide. So what is HauntScene? Melissa Lukac. Elevator pitch for HauntScene. What do we do?
So we're based from Orlando, Florida, and we're basically spooky people who go around doing spooky stuff. Houses, conventions, anything spooky related, anything you can think of, that's what we do.
Like a travel show for haunts, basically.
Nice.
So
Kind of like Terror on Church Street, for example.
I moved to Florida after that,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
we weren't there for that, but we know of it.
Yeah.
Right.
We know a lot of people that were involved with that. All right, next one. So we have to speak from a position of authority, like you might like, what are these jerks up here talking about haunted houses? Well, we've been to many. My long-term goal personally is to go to one haunted attraction in every single state. So far we're in 30 states. We've done 30 states. We've done 146 locations. And that's different locations. Sometimes when you talk to haunt people, they're like, I went to Halloween Horror Nights, that's 10 haunts. No, it's one. It's one place, all right? So some people pad their numbers like that. So we go every year, we do road trips. We fly into a state. Last year we did Utah, and we did Nevada, we did Arizona. So we usually pick about 3 or 4 states a year, and we go and we visit haunted attractions. So we've seen a lot of stuff. We've also pretty much done everything in Florida as well, so because we're based out of this area right here. Next one, please. So let's get into the favorite things first. So much like Bill was talking about, like good sword fights and good combat and bad combat, we're going to go into the good stuff first, the things that I really like, that I've observed here. Before we get into this stuff, please don't come at me in the comments. I'm not calling out haunts. This is more of like a general observation about the haunt industry, the things that I've observed that I've really like here. So I'm a big fan of wide open spaces. Like a lot of times when you go to a haunted attraction, like how many of you have been to Halloween Horror Nights? Woo! Yeah, amazing. How many of you were at the panel yesterday?
Yeah.
Woo! All right. So they'll walk you through a hallway, and all of a sudden it opens up into something epic, right? I love that. I absolutely love that stuff. Horror Nights is probably a little bit more, I don't know, the walkways are probably a little wider, or a little bit wider than normal for haunted attractions. A lot of other independent haunted attractions are a little bit tighter. They just kind of go in the normal ADA stuff that they have to do here. But I love it when things open up. So.
No, I do too. Like, you got wide open spaces, you got dragons in there, you got, zombies, ghosts, everything of that nature. So I like closed spots too, because it's the best way to get you.
Yeah.
Because when you're enclosed, it's a lot more scarier. So, but wide open spaces are the best way to go as well.
I'm also big on sightlines. One of my favorite things, and you're not going to see this really at Horror Nights, because Horror Nights kind of controls your flow. But a lot of haunts, when you walk through them, you can see the upcoming scene. Like you can see in the distance, the tower, or whatever.
Look through a window and see into the next room.
Oh, I love that stuff, because you're like, when am I going to get there? Has anybody ever been to Netherworld in Stone Mountain, Georgia?
Netherworld, anyone?
Okay, it is literally the Disney World of haunts. If you want to go and do one of the most epic haunted attractions in the country, I don't say favorites, but it is awesome. It is a must-do. But they excel at sightlines. You will see scenes that you aren't going to get there for like 5-10 minutes, but they're coming up there. I love that stuff. That's one of my favorites. Also love authenticity. So when you are going through haunted attractions, a lot of times you'll see bones or machinery or something like that. And
Chainsaw.
chainsaw.
Yeah.
And when you're going through and you're looking at stuff, I think it's a very subconscious thing where, is it real or is it not real, right? We go out to the Kirby Family Farm Scary Train every year, and it's based on like an old farm area, and it's up in the Gainesville area, Williston. And at one point in this haunt, he has like a huge pile of like old cow bones, right? Now, when you walk past a pile of bones or a corpse or something like that in a haunted house, a lot of companies, Ghost Ride and all this stuff, they make very authentic props. You see a lot of like, you know, dead pigs hanging in a slaughterhouse or something like that. And you're like, oh, that's cool, that's spooky. But the moment it's something real, I think it really unlocks something a little bit more like subconscious, like primal. And I think the authenticity of real stuff really does that. And a big thing that we also run across is old props and things that are like real, and a lot of times
like
old
authentic
props
settings. Like we did, like in Utah last year, we did Fear Factory.
Yep.
And it was an actual rundown abandoned factory. Like we were walking through catwalks and things of that nature, of things that used to be. And it made it even scarier because you knew like it was real, like, you know, real machinery, real things that could hurt you or kill you. So it puts you in that fear mindset, you know what I'm saying? So
I love the real stuff. I just
Yeah.
love it. A lot of times we run into stuff. Anybody ever been to Mortem Manor in Old Town?
I hear a lot about it.
It's awesome. It's fun.
it's a great way to, like, you know, like itch that haunt itch. you
Yeah,
know,
it's open
throughout the
year
year.
round.
It's open year round,
So
so
you
you
can-
guys can do it whenever you want, like whenever there's no haunts going on, you know?
Yeah. The prior iteration of that was a haunted attraction called the Legends in Old Town.
Of course, and
And,
it was also done by the same team that did Terror.
Yeah, like Dan Caro
It was
and all
also-
those amazing people.
actually haunted too, because
Yeah.
of the props that they had in there.
Yeah, they had a bunch of like old Victorian like funeral stuff, like the hair weave and all that stuff there. And that place was like super duper actually
Stuff from,
haunted.
like, funeral homes, right? Like
Yeah.
caskets and things like that. So it had a lot of energy to it.
Yeah,
like,
that place was
spiritual
that place
energy.
was terrifying. So love the real stuff. All right, let's move on to the next one. Love authentic stuff. Spectacle. Okay, so I absolutely love when we go to a haunted house and you see something you're not expecting to see. We went to 13th Gate in Louisiana, and we walk into this cave, and all of a sudden there's a woolly mammoth. I mean, like,
Full-size woolly mammoth.
what's a woolly mammoth doing in a haunted house?
It's definitely
right?
something I've never seen in a haunted house.
So I'm a big fan of that stuff because you're not really expecting it. Or dragons. I mean, there are certain haunted attractions that have dragons. We did Nightmare on 13th in Utah, and they had a dragon that like breathed like ice fire on you. It was nuts, man. I love that stuff, like the big unexpected spectacle type things. I love big props. Horror Nights does a really good job of this as well. The huge props, love that stuff. I also love unique locations and settings. One of the really cool things you can do with a haunted attraction is you can find something that used to be something else, like Eloise in Detroit, basically where I'm from. When I was growing up, that was like an insane asylum, it was a mental health facility, and they turned that into a haunted attraction. There's no real substitute for authenticity for these old locations. We've been to Penhurst Asylum up in Pennsylvania.
Which used to be in a real asylum.
Right.
Yep.
So I love that stuff. Sometimes you go into a haunted attraction, and I love it when they reuse like old industrial space. I think there's a level of authenticity there that kind of speaks to you when you walk in. Sometimes you will walk up to like this big nondescript warehouse that has nothing, no features or whatever. I love it when you walk into something, you're already kind of in the mood, in the theme before you even get in there. Also love immersion. Now I know this is kind of like a buzzword in the theatrical haunt industry, everything immersion, but I want to forget that I'm in a haunted house. I want to forget that it's safe when you go into things. I love immersion. I love it when you are part of the setting, part of the story, when the characters talk to you, when you can interact with them when you're in there. I don't know, if you walk into a haunted house and you're just like, I'm in a haunted house, nothing can really happen to me. The moment you aren't scared, it's not fun, right?
That's why I like real
Gets to your
locations.
feelings.
Yeah, like, you know, like real, like industrial locations, asylums, hospitals, real places that are actually haunted, you know? A lot of haunted houses we've been to are actually haunted with real spirits.
Yeah.
So it makes it, scarier.
Yeah, you know, there's something like that also in St. Petersburg, the Don Cesar. It's like a haunted hotel.
We've been to actual haunted locations too, like in Tampa, the Tampa Theater.
Yeah.
We've done haunted ghost tours in downtown Orlando too.
Yeah,
on
American
Church
Ghost
Street. I don't know if
Adventures
you've
is
done
awesome.
Ghost Adventures, if you guys done any of those, any ghost tours, but we've done some of those stuff. Johnny and I are not big on the real ghost things, like they kind of.
I don't know, man.
Johnny's been like.
So I grew up in a haunted house, so I'm good. I don't want to take this stuff home with me.
I don't want someone to follow me
we
home.
like the fake
stuff.
haunted house,
Yeah,
but we
so-
end up doing
Yeah.
some paranormal stuff here and there. I don't want to.
I don't like
poke the
dealing
bear
with
too
the real
much.
stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's go on to the next one. I want to get to the pet peeves. All right. Easter eggs, tributes.
These are big in like HHS.
I love
Yeah.
Easter eggs, man. The little tiny things. Horror Nights is really good about putting little Easter eggs. At one point in one of their houses, I forget what it was called, but it was like angels and demons. They literally had like all these like glyphs, and one of them was the Prince symbol. You guys remember that Prince when he changed it into a symbol? It was that. That was kind of cool. I love the Easter eggs. We were doing Realm of Terror in Chicago, and I would imagine everybody here has probably heard of Smashing Pumpkins before, right? So what's the lead singer's name of Smashing Pumpkin?
Billy Corgan.
Billy Corgan, right? They had this pumpkin guy. He was a guy with a pumpkin head, and all it was doing was an animatronic, and it was just smashing his face into like a desk. So it was a Smashing Pumpkins, and like his name was Billy. Like that little stuff. I love these little things. You point them out because most guests won't put two and two together with that, but it's really, really cool. Another thing that we come across a lot is tributes. Now, obviously, these haunted attractions are all groups of people. They're families, they're friends. People have sons and daughters. Everybody that works at haunted attractions, and sometimes people will pass on. And we are big friends with Fright Nights in South Florida Fairgrounds. And they've lost some folks there, and they have some really cool tributes to some previous characters there. And it's just, when they point it out to you, it's like, I just want to be in the middle of a haunt, like crying, But it's nice to see that stuff. And that kind of goes back to that authenticity, that energy that really goes into haunts. Love that. I love fun interactions. I love talking back and forth with characters. You will probably, maybe there are like scare zones at Horror Nights, but at a lot of other haunted attractions, they have like queue actors, right? So somebody to kind of keep you entertained when you are in line waiting for the haunted house, especially when it gets closer to Halloween. Those lines are going to get a little bit longer and longer and longer. It's nice to have somebody come by and mess with you or talk to you or whatever. I love that. They usually put the people who are really scary or really good at scaring people or people who can talk. Yeah. Those are going to be your queue actors there. So it's kind of like a prime position with a lot of haunted attractions, which is really neat. I love originality. We go to Transworld every year. Anybody heard of Transworld? Woo! So Transworld is the convention where all the haunted attractions go to buy their props, their fake bloods, their masks, their costumes and everything. They also do a lot of education there, classes, so they can come and learn from each other, whatever. We go there mainly to schmooze. We go there to meet new people and reconnect with our friends, find new haunts to go to. It's hard for me, when I'm like, what haunt am I going to go into, when we want to go to Idaho, or Wisconsin or something like that.
North Dakota.
Yeah, we'll run into them in like the elevator at one of the hotels there or
It's the
something like
best
that.
place to network too, because every haunt is like there,
Yeah.
so you can meet everybody. But yeah, I like the interactions. I love interactive haunts. Anyone ever been to an interactive haunt, the ones where they touch you and grab you? I personally love those. You can ask Johnny.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen our scare cams, but I love those. The ones that,
Yeah.
throw you up against the wall, throw you up on a table. I'm weird like that. But
I don't like that.
I like that. Johnny doesn't.
Yeah.
So I usually do
We'll get
the
into the
glow
pet peeves in a
necklace.
moment.
I do like all the lanyards and all that stuff. I'm the one that gets picked up. Johnny doesn't. So
But with the originality, what?
I just wanted to, I can't remember where it was, but we were on a wagon and at night, and it was a full moon, and someone with a chainsaw was chasing us and
Like-
catching us.
Was it here in Florida?
Yes.
Okay, was it?
oh, probably Sir Henry's.
Sir
Actually,
Hen-
yeah.
Sir
Sir Henry's
Henry's?
is the one that has the hayride.
Sir,
Yeah.
Sir Henry's of Plant City, maybe?
It was.
There aren't a lot of hayrides in
My
Florida.
grandson was crying.
Well, then they were doing their job. All right. Future character. Awesome.
Usually out of both of us, it's usually me doing that.
What's
Yeah.
it called?
Sir Henry's
Sir Henry's.
Trail. It's in Plant City.
Yeah, it's on like the Tampa region.
Yeah.
How many of you have been to Sir Henry's?
I love Sir Henry's.
Alright,
It's good.
alright.
I always hear of another thing in Tampa called Screamageddon.
That's in Dade City, so it's like the North Tampa area. Screamageddon's a thing. All right, so we're gonna edit that part out. All right, so originality. What was I talking about this? So I did like a little haunt tour in like the Chicago area, and I've been to Transworld. I see the props that people buy, the big props and mannequins and all that stuff there. And I'm not gonna call out any haunts or whatever, but there were 2 haunts in the Chicago region. If you blindfolded me and you put me in that haunt, I wouldn't be able to tell which one was which, because it was literally the same stuff, you know, and I'm not a fan of that. When people buy stuff like off the shelf at like a Transworld and they just shove it in their haunt, okay, it's cool, but like I like the original stuff. When people have their own stories, they make their own props, their own themes and that kind of stuff. I love that stuff.
Nice.
All right, last one for the favorite things. The people.
The people.
I mean,
of course.
my absolute favorite thing about the haunt industry, kind of what keeps me going, is the people behind the scenes. I love the haunters, I love the scarectors, the costumers, the makeup artists, the other content creators in that space. That's really what kind of keeps me going. I mean, I get more about promoting stuff. You will probably hear a lot of people that go to a lot of haunts, they're like haunt reviewers. We don't do that. I just want to show people what's out there. One of the biggest barriers to the haunt industry is just people not knowing that they exist, right? If you don't know a haunt's there, how are you going to do it? Or people will come up to me, hey, I really missed this haunt that closed because nobody went, because they didn't know it was there. That's what we do. We want to promote the haunted attractions. But I think of it like supporting a small business. I like supporting the people behind the scenes. That's my favorite.
And we've met so many people doing this too. You know, within the haunt industry, haunters, friends, everybody. So
Yeah.
we really do it for the people. We do it for y'all. So
Yeah, you know, it's kind of like you're kind of like an X-Files of sorts.
The Haunt Files.
Yeah.
The H-Files.
X-Files, where you
H-Files.
find out the strange
I like
and
that. I like
unusual.
that. That could be a new name for us.
Yeah, HauntScene. We gotta stay HauntScene. But it's literally, truly the people. It's the people that really keep me going. And my year resets when we go to this Transworld thing, because we get to see our old friends and reconnect with people, and it kind of helps me reset, and then we start doing our show in the spring and that kind of stuff. So that's going to be our favorite things. Okay, so the controversial don't cancel me part, let's get into the pet peeves. So I normally don't talk like this, because everything we do, we try to keep it positive, okay? So I'm even haunts that have issues, I try to give that feedback directly to the haunter. I don't go online and blast them. I'm just not that kind of person. That doesn't mean that things don't bother me, though, right? All right, so let's get into the top 10 pet peeves. Number 1, dead ends.
Oh, yes.
If you go into a haunted attraction and all of a sudden you hit a dead end and you have to find your way out, I hate that. My brain shuts off. I'm like, I just want to keep going and get through the haunted attraction. So, not a fan of dead ends.
I can agree. Yeah, I just want to keep going. Like you have to stop and think, and I'm like, I don't want to do that on a house.
Find your way out. I'm like, I just want to get out.
I just want to know the only way to get out.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Now, this is where things may differ with Melissa and I. Crawling. I do not
I don't mind
like to crawl
I
in
like
a
to-
haunted house.
I like to be very athletic. I'm gonna even jump over something.
Especially with the spine.
Yeah.
I mean, I am old. So, like, I will feel that the next day, right? And normally when we go through haunts, we have, like, our gear, our scare cam. I'll have, like, cameras and stuff, my fanny pack, whatever. And we'll be going through stuff, and it is not fun to crawl through things. I also don't like to get dirty, right? Some haunts are like, oh, it's extreme haunt. We'll mess you up and get blood on you. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of like the gooey stuff and the wet stuff. Like I don't mind all the touching interactions, but I don't mind.
It's
like
funny
the
because
stuff.
Melissa and I are not like that, but the rest of the girls on my crew, like Kira and Kristen, and
they'll get into the nitty gritty.
dude,
like
they
all
will
the
get
dirty, gooey
covered.
stuff.
They don't care. Yeah,
I can't do that. I can't do that.
Yeah, we're good with that. Also, unsafe environments. So, big pet peeve of mine. I don't like to trip on things.
I don't want to go to a haunted house and actually die, you know?
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to die.
I want my
And
life to be in danger, but I don't want to die.
going back to the fact that I'm old, I have bad ankles. So like if I break something, the warranty's gone. It's broken forever. You know. But there's like little stuff where you know, people don't clean up like cardboard or paper, and you're slipping on stuff or whatever. You know, it's like or there might be a tripping hazard, or there might be a step down that's not lit up or whatever.
Like
These things. These are not fun. They're not fun. So normally I give that feedback right away to people. There was a local haunt. I'm not going to call it out, but I went through for one of their preview nights, and they had like those flaps that go down. They have to push through like kind of like the refrigerator flaps. And they had that going into like one of those compression tunnel things. And I walked in, and that thing grabbed me, and all of a sudden I couldn't move. Like I am literally stuck here. Like, because the way that one effect went into another, that was not fun for me. I had to like go backwards and then walk around it. That was not fun. Not a fan of the unsafe stuff. People do spill things in haunts. You know, people sometimes throw up and do things in haunts. You know, that's not fun. I also don't like bumping my head. Oh my God, I about gave myself a concussion at one of the haunts we did last year. And that is not fun. So don't hurt me, right?
I've seen Johnny run into puppets.
Yep.
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, those big like gore galore things.
Yeah,
I get lost in haunts. I don't know how that is.
He went right, and I went left.
I'm just giving it a hug. And then the guy like operating the puppet's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, I haven't done any haunted houses.
So no real danger in a haunted house. No real danger.
I'm like covering my badge, you know.
Make sure all my limbs are here. Yeah, everything's intact.
I got chased. I fell into a boo hole once. I went right into the boo hole.
I see Johnny right over.
And
they have
that was at dark hour in Texas. They have security footage of me falling in there. So I say unsafe environments, but sometimes I make them unsafe for myself.
Johnny was
sometimes I can't help that. Next one over here. Okay, all right. This one is like the thing I'm very passionate about. Mismatched locations and themes.
Okay.
So
all right.
I want to lay the scene, and it's a haunt that's no longer in existence, so I'll go ahead and call it what it was. There was a haunt up in the Gainesville area that was called Torment Factory back in the day. And they had like a little haunt their first year, and it was all right. And then they had a haunt the second year, and they're like, okay, we've got a new location. I'm like, sweet, it's on this old farm. So you pull up to this farm. This is pre-Melissa time. So we go out there, and I pull up this farm, and it's a rustic, dust bowl farm. I mean, there's bugs flying in the sky. It's night. You feel like you need like a tetanus shot if you just look at something wrong. And we walk into this thing, and it is epic. I mean, there are hay bales, and there's factories, and there's silos, and barns, and everything. And then we go into the haunt, like, okay, cool, get in line for the haunt. And I'm like, this is going to be amazing. And we walk into the haunt, and it's clowns. What are we doing here, right? Like there's only so much your brain can take when you build it up in your head. Like, oh, this is gonna be, oh my God, this could be like a crazy like corn cult, or crazy farmers, or redneck cannibals. Oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. Clowns, right? Now I know like Jack the Clown's a big thing. Obviously, a lot of people have claustrophobia. How many of you are scared of clowns?
Woo.
I am not.
Me too.
I am not scared of clowns. What would be the opposite of the word scared?
Enjoy.
I don't know. It's not enjoy. I do not. But like, I am not. I know clowns are very prevalent in the haunt industry because a lot of people are scared of clowns. When I see a clown, my brain goes the other way. I'm like, my brain turns off. I'm like, I am not being entertained right now, right? So that's just a personal thing. Kind of going along with that, have you ever been to a mismatch theme place?
I don't think so. Have we?
Most people do a really good job.
Yeah.
That was just one that was kind of like in particular.
Have there been any that we went to that were mismatched?
I'd have to think about it. That one, the Torment Factory, sticks out to me. Bad scene transitions, kind of going into the same kind of theme here. Sometimes you will be going through a haunt and it's trying to feature different things. Maybe there's like a evil storybook, or there are evil elves, or there are cannibals, there are zombies, there are aliens, there are whatever. those things need buffer space in between them. Like if you walk from one scene into another and it's a completely different thing, like that record scratch sound is what hits my head.
Like if you go from an asylum to a farm, it's
Yeah,
just
you're
doesn't
like,
make any sense.
what's going on here? And I know a lot of haunted attractions have to work within their budget, so I'm not like talking smack about that. But like sometimes when we go in, there should be at least a little bit of a transition in between those. Some like there was a haunt in South Florida called Enigma Haunt, where they had a bunch of different themes and a bunch of different stories. But every time you jump from one to another, there was like a portal or some reason you were going from one dimension to another. It was like a subconscious kind of explanation there. But for a lot of haunts, if they don't really set that up, you're just going from one thing to another. Like, here's what I think people are scared of. Go from A to B, werewolves to zombies to vampires. It's like, guys, give me a little bit of a break. Give me a mental break right there, right? I'm very particular about costuming, right? Going back to budget stuff. Not every haunt has a bunch of money, right? If you're talking like Horror Nights, millions of dollars. Some of the big box haunts, your Netherworlds, your Dark Hours, lots and lots of money. They have all day to make amazing costumes and buy all kinds of masks and stuff like that. But your mom and pop haunt doesn't have that kind of money, right? So they got to do the best they can. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to let them off the hook for just not caring at all. I was doing a haunt in the Chicago area, and I walk in, and I'm a big fan of plants. I didn't actually put it in this list here, but sometimes you go through a haunt, and there will be a fake person in there, and they usually come up to you like, oh my God, I'm so lost. I got separated from my group. Help me, I'm lost. I can't find my friends. What's going on? And eventually, like, some other character will come out and stab them or something like that. Oh my God! Like, I love that stuff. That stuff's awesome. Horror Nights has done that too a little bit, which is pretty cool. But I was walking through a haunt, and there was this character, and they had a black robe on in like a cult type scene. It's kind of spooky, but the robe they had on wasn't buttoned up all the way. And I'll never forget it. On this poor little girl's t-shirt was the Lion King. And I'm like, dude, just turn your shirt inside out or wear a black t-shirt or button up the robe or something like that. I'll never forget it.
Oh
like
God.
the Lion King.
Yeah, that's
right?
crazy.
So yeah, not a big fan of that. Also, a lot of masks, like if you buy high-end masks, silicone masks, you know how the masks come on and they have like the neck and they have like the little bib area right here?
Oh, yes.
So
Yes.
tuck that in.
Yeah, when it's
Man.
hanging out, it doesn't look that good.
I know, and I
Gotta
feel
tuck it in there to
like
set
I'm
people
being
on.
rough. Like
Yeah.
I'm a haunt connoisseur, you know, kind of thing. But like,
But these are just little details.
Little
Just little
details.
things, just little things.
You know, and unfortunately, it's not like it ruins the night for us, because one of the cool things about doing HauntScene is we can have fun anywhere. We can have fun
literally.
anywhere. I mean, we go into every single haunted attraction with an open mind. Like literally, we have one checkbox. Did we have a good time?
As long as we had fun, it's all that
That's
matters.
it. That's the only thing that matters to me and why
Like
we
the
love haunt so
overall.
much.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we love haunt so much, and we just want to go and have a good time.
Yeah, that's it. That doesn't mean like little things like that are I think could be improved. It just means like put a little bit more effort into that. All right, let's get on to the next one here. Okay. Conga lines. So
HHN is big on this.
look, we love Horror Nights. I absolutely love Halloween Horror Nights. It's amazing. It's its own thing. Like in the haunt industry, Horror Nights, theme park haunts, completely different animal from your mom and pop independent haunted attractions.
They're two different entities.
Conga lines, I mean, look, they just got to get the people through. Like, that's the thing. Lines of Horror Nights, hour, 2 hours, you got express, you go to the premium night, you're still waiting, right? They got to get the people through. So I get it with the conga lines, but some other haunted attractions, when you get into super duper busy nights, sometimes they don't give you much of a break in between the groups, right? So not a fan of that. Or what's called pulsing, where they let a group in, wait a minute, let the next group in, right? That should be a good enough buffer in between groups to have everybody have their own experience in that haunted attraction.
Usually,
Question.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to mention, we had an experience last year where the pulsing was a little inconsistent. Because of that, the scares in the house, there's a lot of scare actors not in place. There was a lot of timing.
Yeah,
there
yeah,
you go.
that's a big one too,
That
when it
leads
comes to
other
conga
things
lines,
that
yeah.
happen inside the house, and that could be not the best experience.
Yeah, haunts are a clock, man. They're a working machine. Everything's got to be firing on all
One
cylinders.
person could be like, oh, I got every single scare. Another person could be like, I missed them all. So it's all about timing.
So I'll give you a really good example of one haunt that does this really well. There's a haunt in Chicago called Hell's Gate. It is also an epic level haunt. I love the main guy with that one, John the Flamboy, because he's just like a theater nerd, and he's made a haunt, and it's like his dream. It's amazing. Hell's Gate is like a must-do. But they watch on cameras every scene in every group. They've got a whole grid of like 100 different cameras in there. And their actors are trained, at least under my understanding, is they will hold and push people through so everybody gets a nice consistent experience. So you'll be sped up, slowed down, sped up, slowed down to make sure that everything's flowing really, really nice, okay? Love that. So this runs into some other problems here because now we're running into the #1 crime in haunted attractions. Running into other groups, okay?
Oh my goodness.
Not a fan. So Horror Nights can't talk about that. Conga lines, get it. But other independent haunted attractions, when they pulse from one line to the other, here's the thing that people don't take into account. Not everybody gets scared the same way.
Of course.
When people go through haunted attractions, you're going to be in one of 3 groups. You're going to be in, oh my God, my friends dragged me here, get me the hell out of here as soon as possible. You are running through the haunt, right? Then you got the other ones where they've never even seen a skeleton before and they are crippling fear and you have to drag them from scene to scene to scene, right? So you can see where one goes through very, very quickly, the other one goes through very, very slowly. It's like pulling teeth to get them through the haunt. I would rather have the fast group because as long as they're ahead of me, I'm never going to see them there. But some haunts don't keep an eye on that, or they just use the one-size-fits-all approach when it comes to pulsing. And you can't really fault them for that. But if you don't give enough of a buffer in between groups, you will run into the group in front of you, right? I would say the third group would be like us.
It'd be like haunters.
We're like
just
medium pace. We're like, ooh, scare me, but I want to look at the lighting and the effects, and this is so cool. Oh, look at that skeleton.
I'm distracted by everything.
Right,
Look
like,
at that dragon.
we're just there to kind of absorb the whole thing. But for the other 2 groups, the too fast, the too small, or too slow right there, man,
You usually get stuck in between.
It is a huge buzzkill when you run into that group in front of you, and it just stops because they may have run into the group in front of them, and so on, and so on, and so on. And then we run into the problem where sometimes we get the people who run up on us because they're moving so fast.
People too slow, so we get sandwiched in between.
Yeah, and now and a lot of times we will literally step out of the way. I'm like, well, if you're going to run that fast, go. If you really want to get out of here that bad, just keep going.
I'd rather be behind them than.
But this is what kicks this off right here, the missed scares.
Yep.
So, like clockwork, every haunt should have its own buffer time and own pulsing or whatever. It's never going to be perfect, but people can do the best they can. But that can set up missed scares, right? Now, you're not going to get every scare every time, but it can also be helped a little bit. Sometimes we'll go through a haunted house and there will be a group in front of us and those characters just scared the hell out of them. And we come up as the next group, and those characters are like, yeah, man, oh, good scare. Oh, crap, there's another group already here.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, all right, well, I guess we won't get scared then. Like, this is kind of like, don't do that. So, characters are trained to jump out, do your thing, and get back. Jump out, do your thing, get back.
That do multiple scares, like 13th floor in Jacksonville. They'll scare you from multiple places. So they'll get you once, like they won't get you somewhere, they'll jump ahead and get you somewhere else. So you can always get multiple areas and multiple scares from multiple actors.
But that whole thing can break though, see?
That's
true. Because
if
they're not there to scare person A and they need to be in position B, that whole thing kind of breaks down right there, unfortunately.
Of course.
All right, and then the last thing here on my list is cash grabs.
Oh,
there was
finance.
one specifically.
Well, I'm not going to name it. So every haunt, the whole point of haunted houses is to make money, right? Obviously, haunts have to make money to pay their staff, to invest in themselves and do all the things, and stay in business. And I get that. I get that. Gotta make money. Hopefully, we're part of that machine that helps haunts make money. But there are also what are called cash grabs, right? So, how do I say this diplomatically? We were at a haunt and it was in an old mall. Remember this?
Yes.
Right?
Yes, I do.
And we go through and we get in line, and there's a lot of people in line. These people are like, this is gonna be amazing. This is the best haunt ever, yeah. And they're in lines, and there's like 3 different attractions there. We get in line, and it's an old decommissioned mall somewhere in South Florida, and we go in, and we go into the main area, and there are 3 haunts there, and they have amazing facades. Amazing facades, neon and all this really cool stuff and this like 80s vibe, and it's like, oh my God, this is gonna be amazing. Because a lot of times when you see the facade of the opening door of a haunt, that's what you're like, yeah,
Takes you into
yeah,
the
this is gonna be
facade, yeah.
amazing.
And this place had some really cool facades.
Yeah,
so
amazing.
We were like really excited.
Super excited. And then we get into the haunt. And the haunt, I'm pretty sure was just made out of stuff that they found in the mall. Like it was like an old Sears or something, and they just found trash bags in like shopping carts,
What do you
in
call
like
mannequins?
and stuff, not in a good way.
Not in a good way.
But like it was the most let down I think I've ever been
It was
at a
bad.
haunt
It was so
ever.
bad.
And the problem is they already have your money. They've already grabbed your cash, right? So once again, we don't really review haunts, but when you go to a haunted attraction, I like to ask people, like other people I know who are into haunts or whatever, hey, have you been to blah, 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 you know? And a lot of people ask us about, when we go to haunts, have you been to this? Because we're like the go-between between a lot of haunted people, haunters, and what they want to do. And one of the biggest drawbacks of being a part of a haunted attraction is you don't get to go out and visit other haunts. Or if you do, you just get to go to one or something like that. So a lot of times we'll go back and forth with them about that. But a lot of haunts in our space are word of mouth. You know, and we're a little more off the cuff, non-publicly about stuff. Because I don't want people to be disappointed and then have them not want to do more haunts there. But cash grabs. So if you're ever unsure about a haunted attraction, ask somebody. Ask us. Reach out to us. We're HauntScene on everything. Hey, should I do this haunt? Probably, or yes, you should, you know, but maybe we have some sort of, or maybe you should try this other haunt there, or if you're thinking about haunt A or haunt B, which one I should go to, those are conversations we'll have off the record, I guess, is probably a good way to say that.
Nice.
So, 12:37, we got 3 minutes left.
3 minutes for questions, my
Any
friend.
questions?
Any questions?
Anyone?
Questions,
Anything?
comments, experiences,
So
right there for it.
do you have any like either like positives or negatives about like specific acting habits of scare actors? Because I'm a scare actor and I'm always looking to get better. So
I will say the one thing I don't like is when this is one of those like I'm old, the screaming in the ears.
Yes. I'm not a fan.
Or
I wear earplugs 'cause I'm
the
deaf,
Aztec
but-
death whistles in the ears. Like I love you guys and those things are cool, but not in the ears.
Or the loud props in the ears.
Yeah.
No, I'm already deaf.
You like it in the
She likes
ears?
it.
Yeah, like when you're in a scare zone and they come up to you like right close, you don't see them coming and then they scream in your ear.
What? I can't hear you because I'm deaf from that happening. All
But
right.
the talking and the whispering is okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, screaming in the ear or
Love that.
Exactly. Yes.
Love
I
that.
love
Yeah.
that. That sends chills down my spine.
Other than that, I be original, be memorable. Like that's the main thing. Remember, when people go through a haunt, much like any sort of performance, they're not going to remember the details. They're going to remember how they felt, right? How's that? Maya Angelou said that,
Yeah.
right? So like, be memorable, be something different. Question.
Yeah, you know, because when I read about this, you know, about, I know you might have not covered Terror on Church Street, but you know, some of their employees that were, I'm now in the other haunt industry, but you know, I actually read a blog post around the time, it says it actually revolutionized the haunt
Oh
industry.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of haunters give, like Dan Carroll.
Dan
Carroll.
Carroll. Carol on Austrian.
Terror on Church Street.
I did all the original special effects for Terror on Church Street.
Oh, wow.
Amazing.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
it was the first time a haunt like that, a multi-room haunt with one narrative through, had existed. And it was a lot of fun. It was really
That in Skull Kingdom, that
Yeah,
used to be done,
Skull
if anybody
Kingdom
remembers
used to
Skull
be done, yeah.
Kingdom?
That's more
All
like
the
an
cool
amusement
things that
park.
happened before I moved to Florida.
I have one more question, and then we're done with time.
It's more like a statement is, I used to work at Universal Orlando for, 2 decades, and the one thing that transitioning Horror Nights into the said Conga line is that now what they've done is their event staff, they have them put in almost every hallway. So as you're walking through and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a person. Oh, this character's over here on the other side. I'm not liking that. And I wish Universal would
Yeah.
go back to when they were doing, I think it was the one year that they did the frozen ship pirate people. They had like a 20-second interlude.
They used to pulse.
Yes.
I've been going to it since '06, and I remember in 2011, they used to pulse the line. They actually used to stop you
Yeah.
before each group went
I've
inside.
been going since '96, and
It's
I'm
it's
just
been a
like,
while since they haven't done that,
There's
yeah.
such a vast difference, but I wish they would stop with wanting to get 25,000-30,000 people there
Yeah.
to spend their money and have 2-hour waits, than to go back to originally how it was what they started.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I
I agree.
agree, yep.
Yeah.
Follow us on all the things. We are HauntScene.
That was us.
Thank you all for coming. We'll hang out for a little bit outside if you guys have any questions or anything, but thank you for having
We
us.
have 3 more Phantasmagoria shows today, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your
Bye.